get the biggest myth out of the way first when it comes to undergrad preparation for law school. A lot of people think that you need to go to an Ivy League undergrad to go to an Ivy League law school, but that is just not the case. Harvard Law School itself represents over 180 undergrad institutions, so don't sell yourself short just because you didn't go to an Ivy League undergrad. Instead, pick an undergraduate institution that best aligns with your passions, your desired culture, and your financial situation. Personally, I went to Texas A&M University, one of the largest public universities in Texas, if not the United States. It was the right fit for me because it gave me the most scholarship opportunity, the most research opportunity, and it made the most financial sense. Ultimately, what matters is not the prestige of your school, but what you do to shine and excel during your time there. Speaking of excelling, let's move on to the topic of majors. It doesn't actually matter what you major in an undergrad because law school doesn't have any prereqs, so don't feel pressured to enter a pre-law program if you don't feel like that's a good fit for you. Instead, pick a major that you have sufficient interest and passion for so that you can maintain those high grades all 4 years of your undergrad. For example, in undergrad, I was a STEM major. More specifically, I graduated with the Bachelor's of Science in Biomedical Science as an honors fellow with a GPA of 3.66. Looking back, I would have liked my GPA to be just a little bit higher for the purposes of law school, but ultimately I have no regrets because I really enjoyed what I was learning and ultimately it made me a better learner. Up until this point, we've talked about the landscape of where your success should take place, but let's dive deeper into what success in college looks like beyond just good grades. A major commonality I found among Harvard Law School students is that in undergrad, they pursued meaningful, independent work. And I'm not just talking about fluffing your resume with officer positions and low commitment clubs. I'm talking about taking ownership of a body of critical academic work. This usually looks like undergraduate research or publishing a thesis or taking on a major independent project or publishing articles. For example, in undergrad, I worked for 3 years as an undergraduate researcher. The culmination of all my work was ultimately published as a thesis. Another example is that during the junior year of college, I worked for a public policy nonprofit in DC and was able to pursue professional work as well as publish an article through their magazine. These are both examples of public pieces of work that I was proud of and able to include in my application to Harvard Law School. Top law schools are interested in students that take initiative in their learning because it demonstrates their independence and their tenacity. I encourage you to start brainstorming early on what sort of projects that you can take on early on in your undergrad to demonstrate your critical thinking, your ambition, and your passion.